Alright, Albright, I'm making this for you, no script, because you're showing a slight interest into TF2, which means you're gonna learn the fucking lore, my dude. Woo! Alright, let's start from the beginning. We have two idiots. They are known as Redmond and Blutarch, both by the name of Man. They are the heirs of one filthy rich dude, and after being petty and annoying, they convinced him to buy a useless pit of land known as the Gravel Pits. It is 100% useless, you can't do shit with it. Eventually, the boys were fighting against each other because the father died, and then he wrote the will to, they both got half the land. Here's the thing. The father left his entire business to some other people. I'm gonna get into that later. For now, we're gonna focus on Blutarch and Redmond. Now, Redmond and Blutarch, they're like, hey, I only get half of it. I want all of it. And because I'm a spoiled little shit, I'm gonna throw a tantrum and try killing my brother. And that's what they did. They tried killing each other and realizing, we're too smart for each other. I know, let's hire mercenaries! So they did. Thus, the TF2 cast. Except it's way before the ones we know today. These are known as... Actually, no, this was before TF2 Classic. Fun fact, Abraham Lincoln invented the rocket jump. Yeah. Now, since they both hired mercenaries, they're like, hey, go kill my brother and take the deed so that I get the whole gravel pit. The problem is that they both hired mercenaries, and the person that the original father left the business to, she goes by the name of administrator, and then she has an assistant named Miss Pauling. They both realized we can make more money off of them if they keep fighting. So they kept funding both sides so that the war would keep going. And because they were equally matched, the war never ended. In fact, it went on for decades. So much so that the original crew died, a second crew came in, and they went by the TF2 Classic team from the original TF2 Classic all the way back to the Quake years. And then, after that war didn't finish, they hired new mercenaries, which is the new TF2 cast. That's a lot of facts. So while this war was going on, Miss Pauling and the administrator had a business with this guy known as Saxon Hale, who supplied the TF2 mercs with weapons and hats, and he was also in on the plan to keep the war going so that, he can get more money. However, this awesome thing from space, this awesome metal known as Australium, is incredibly valuable, found in Australia at the beginning of the Gravel Wars, and it boosted science all the way to where 1920 looks like today. Actually, it looks better than today. But moving on past that, Saxon Hale is a part of it, like I stated. And on top of that, he has a shitload of Australium, and he wants to hoard it for himself, so does the administrator. However, a fun quirk with the Australium is that when injected into the bloodstream, not only does it make you younger, it makes you live longer! So yeah, the administrator is not only hoarding a ton of the world's Australium and having the mercenaries go look for it, she also has them keep fighting so she can get more and more and more Australium so that she can continue to live longer and longer, so that she can keep getting more Australium, so that the war can keep going, so that she can get more Australium, so the war can keep going, so she can get more. So, a little side plot. While the war is going on, the blue soldier and the red demo man become friends, because fuck it. And then, they're like, hey, let's be friends. And like, yeah! So, the administrator doesn't like that, because it could possibly hurt the war, because if two guys are friends and they don't fight, then she can't get money, then she can't get Australium, so she can't live longer, so the war can't keep going, And maybe it might affect the entire other teams, so that they're like, hey, let's not fight, and let's revolt against the administrator. So, to make sure that this doesn't happen, the administrator asks Pauling to create a new weapon, so that the demo man and the soldier can fight each other for it. In the end, the soldier wins, and he gets the weapon known as the gunboats. Special boots with metal at the end so that you don't kill yourself when you blast jump. So, yeah, they're still technically friends, but they pretend not to be so that they don't have another war between them because they didn't like that. So, after a while of the war going on, Blutarch and Redmond start growing really, really old, and eventually they're like, oh wait, we don't have an heir, so that when we die, what little we have goes to them. So they're like, damn, our legacy really does end with us. So instead of doing what most modern day boys would do and just swear off girls and let their bloodline die, they decide to build a machine to somehow impregnate one another. Keep in mind, they are both boys. They're both dudes. Alright? I get it. Haha, nowadays, a man can have a girl, blah, blah, or a baby, blah, 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 blah. I don't believe in that, and neither does the comic creators, because they have to have a dude create some very complex machinery so that a dude can get pregnant. Anyways, they don't even finish plotting it when their long-lost brother, Greymond, who was raised by bald eagles, he was stolen by bald eagles as a baby and raised by them, and eventually he came back, killed his two brothers, and decided, you know what, I'm going to take their deeds, I'm going to take their lands, and then I'm going to take the contracts to I'm gonna take over Saxon Hale's business. I'm gonna get rid of the administrator, get rid of her shit. Don't care about Pauling, and then I'm gonna have all these robots so that I could take the shit from the mercenaries and stuff. So he did, and thus man versus machine. Yeah, it's just a war. These robots that Gray Man built versus the TF2 mercenary crew. Pretty cool, huh? Sometime after the robot war ended, Miss Pauling was notified by the administrator saying, which ultimately means bring the mercenaries back together because I'm about to die and I want some Australium. So she does. There's basically a second robot war, except the whole war is just the mercenaries getting together. They get all of them together except Engineer, who is with the administrator keeping her alive. Fun fact, the administrator dies like every single day, but he has to put in new amounts of Australium to bring her back. Real weird, huh? Anyways, so, yeah, that happens, but to make sure that the TF2 mercenaries can't do shit, Greyman hires the TF2 Classic team. What? So yeah, the TF2 Classic mercenaries come back to fight the TF2 Modern mercenaries. They all die one by one, the TF2 Classic team. However, the TF2 Classic Heavy rips the spine out of Greyman, steals the Australium, and he becomes like gigabuilt, you know? Like Albright, but on steroids. I mean, on more steroids. So then, after that, Team Fortress Classic Heavy kills the TF2 Medic, and then the TF2 Heavy throws hands with the TF2 Classic Heavy, and then he wins for a little bit, and then TF2 Classic Heavy turns on the Australian thing, and now he's super ultra mega gigabuilt. So Albright, but on steroids squared, you know? Anyways, so Medic goes down to hell. Turns out he's stolen the souls of everyone he's worked with, so that he makes another deal with Devil where it's like, yes, I made a deal with you like decades ago so I get extensive knowledge. However, now that I'm dead, the majority stakeholder of my soul gets me in hell. However, that was when I had one soul. Now I have 9 more souls. So, you know, it's like 9 versus 1 on a yes to no ratio, you know? So you might want my soul, but there's 9 people on my side saying I want my soul. So you don't get it. But so that he goes back up to the land of the living, the medic, he makes a deal where it's like, I'll sell you one of my new souls for that pen so I can go back up. And Lucifer's like, wait, what? You want to sell your soul for a pen? And Medic's like, yeah, I'm German, yeah. Anyways, so he does that, goes back to the land of the living. He says that he put a baboon uterus inside the TF2 Classic Heavy, to where it's like, the press of this button will make you pregnant. So then he pressed the button. Turns out it was just a pen from hell with wires around it. And then the TF2 Heavy just kills him. Like, breaks his neck or something. No. He rips the Gray Man's spine out of TF2 Heavy's spine. So then, after Gray Man dies, Heavy's like, you didn't really add a baboon uterus inside him, right? No, I did. And then he presses the actual button that impregnates him, and then the Team Fortress Classic Heavy gives birth to a baboon, which the medic raises. And thus is the end of the timeline. Yeah, that sounded seamless, didn't it? No, it didn't. I can hear this in editing. Anyways, so, while I did just say that Heavy rips out the spine, and when Gray Man dies, then he dies. But no. I meant to say that the Team Fortress Classic Heavy is dead. But moving past that, yeah, so the timeline isn't finished because Valve is a lazy piece of shit corporation, and they don't care about TF2. So, that's all we have for now. But yeah, that's the end of the timeline. Thank you so much for watching, Albright. I know for damn sure you watched it. You're probably laughing. I don't care. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry for anyone I've offended. Piss off. Bye!